Can you fathom how crazy it would be if your everyday existence were an Arab king? Forget a billionaire luxury lifestyle. How about a trillionaire luxury lifestyle? How much more independence would you have in terms of what you could buy and where you could travel if you had all that money? As we take a look inside the life of not just a multi-billionaire, but a trillionaire, I don't think there's anything that can adequately prepare you for the extravagant ways this king spends his money. House of Saud. Before digging into King Salman's lifestyle as a trillionaire, it's essential to gain an understanding of the origin of those trillions of dollars. After the death of his older brother Abdullah, who was the monarch at the time, in 2015, King Salman, who is now 79 years old, assumed control of the Saudi Arabian House of Saud and the state-owned oil corporation Aramco, which is where the majority of the family's wealth now derives from. At the time this extremely informative video was produced, 98% of Aramco was under the direct ownership of the Saudi royal family. Now, how much value is that 98% of Aramco worth? Well, it's the second largest crude oil reservoir in the world. As a result of this, the family of Saud currently has a net value of approximately $1.4 trillion. Now, despite the fact that there are 2,000 members of the royal family, King Salman is the only one who has direct control over everything. The immense wealth amassed by the dynasty of Saud has allowed for the construction of 12 spectacular palaces. The Al Yamama Palace, the Al Alya Palace, and the opulent Erga Palace are the three most opulent and luxurious palaces out of these 12. The beautiful Al Yamama residence was built by King Salman bin Abdulaziz and serves not only as the working place of the monarch, but also as the royal court. What truly reveals the monarch's extravagant taste are the palace's interiors, which include several magnificent lighting fixtures that could be used as original artwork, along with lush carpets, ornate heirlooms, and gold, and some more gold. The exterior of the palace is effortlessly modern and elegant, with a traditional Arabic design that seamlessly integrates geometric motifs and pointed arched windows. The palace is located in the center of Riyadh, the Saudi capital city. The palace is home to a number of stunning chapels spread out over its grounds. Would you ever get tired of living in a palace like this? When King Salman grows weary of the opulence of this palace, he has been known to relocate to the more traditional and minimalist Al Alya Palace. This palace showcases Saudi Arabia's historic architecture, and like the Al Yamama court's walls, are additionally embellished with intricate carvings and have black and white photos of Riyadh. There isn't as much gold as Al Yamama, but the palace is priceless as it is one of the oldest on Earth. The majority of the king's official visitors are often received in the Erga Palace. In 2015, shortly after King Salman had been crowned, he invited former President Barack Obama to the royal palace. Do you have the ability to see what is directly in the middle of them? That is a gold tissue dispenser. Would you purchase a tissue dispenser made of gold? If even the tissue dispensers in the palace have been given a gold finish, just imagine what else in the palace is embellished with the precious metal. King Salman takes his lavish luxury lifestyle very seriously. However, before you get carried away, keep in mind that while possessing a mansion made of gold is indeed amazing, adorning a fleet of aircraft with the same precious metal is an entirely different story. King Salman is the proud owner of several different jet planes. In addition to his extremely large 747-400, the King Salman possesses and operates not one, not two, but 6 jets. In addition, the Saudi royal family possesses 2 Boeing 747-200s, as well as an Airbus A340-200, a Boeing 777-300, and a Boeing 787-8. The Airbus A340-200 is reserved exclusively for the use of the king. The Royal Boeing 747-400, a commercial airliner that was adapted for the monarch and transformed into a levitating palace paradise, is one of the largest passenger airplanes in the world. It has the capacity to carry more than 600 people at once. But if there are 600 people traveling with him, which ones can be trusted and which ones can't? Would you wonder who really had your best interest if you had that much money? There's no official footage of the interiors, since For obvious reasons, security is of the utmost importance. However, it is claimed to feature everything from a throne room to meeting rooms, lavatories, and beds made of gold-plated material. I strongly encourage you to do the math, because despite the fact that King Salman possesses 2 Boeing aircraft, their average price is only $100 million each. But hold on, bear in mind that they were all specially crafted for him, and that each one includes opulent interiors crafted of gold. Additionally, keep in mind that his other 4 airplanes have certain characteristics. I don't know how much it would cost to maintain all 6 jets, but it would blow my mind if the sum was less than $3 billion every year. On the other hand, when contrasted to the incredible amount of money the king spends on his official visits, that number's nothing more than a drop in the bucket. You won't believe it. In 2014, while the king was on a diplomatic assignment in Washington, D.C., he made reservations for all 222 rooms at the luxurious Four Seasons Hotel. Tables, mirrors, lamps, and even the hat racks had to be changed. And all of these golden items were flown directly from Saudi Arabia. After that, in typical fashion, the king ordered a complete redecoration of the hotel. Everything that wasn't gold was ordered to be turned into, well, gold. The king also insisted that all of the hotel's carpets be replaced with plush red carpets, and even ordered red carpets to be laid in the parking lot so that the king wouldn't have to touch the ground. The trip to Russia. In 2017, you might want to consider getting a hold of yourself for this one. From Russia, Indonesia, Tokyo, and Morocco, King Salman participated in a number of diplomatic missions during his reign. Every journey was a spectacular display of lavish luxury, and, as was to be anticipated, insane sums of money were spent on the king's trip to Russia. He brought an entourage of 1,500 people, 1,764 pounds of food, his own furniture, and his own carpets. Nevertheless, the main attraction was King Salman's golden escalator, which he utilized to depart his jet. What would you guess the price tag for this might be? Yeah, who knows? But a regular escalator per foot costs around $8,000. So one made of gold is crazy amounts of money. Ironically, this royal extravagant magic ride got stuck halfway through the king's descent, and he was forced to climb down like the rest of us. The king also booked out the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons Hotel, both of which were occupied by the king's 1,000-plus entourage. In order to accommodate the king's entourage, these opulent hotels were forced to cancel other guest reservations and temporarily relocate residents who had lived there permanently. Guess the price tag just for accommodations? The King Salman paid about $3 million for these bookings, not including room service, which was a pittance for the king. And we're just getting started on the luxurious spending spree. King Salman also leased 200 cars for his group and ended up spending an estimated total $100 million on his trip in Russia. The king duplicated his expenditures by the end of his visit to Morocco, one of the most expensive residencies in the nation. A secret 74-acre estate cost him $100 million for his luxurious stay, while the remainder of the team stayed in 800 rooms in one of Morocco's most luxurious, costly hotels. Yeah, they booked out that entire hotel too. Tokyo trip. As they were getting ready for their trip, King Salman realized they'd have a luggage issue. As a result, the king chartered a $14 million Lockheed C-130 Hercules plane that was owned by Royal Netherlands Air Force. This military aircraft was originally purposed to transport heavy cargo and tanks over long distances, and the king repurposed it to carry his luggage. Did you hear that? His luggage. How much luggage do you have to need a C-130 to carry it? Throughout his stay in Tokyo, he also leased 2 Mercedes-Benz S600s that served as his official vehicles. He also reserved over 1,200 rooms in some of Tokyo's top hotels to accommodate his entourage, and he ordered, guess how many limos? 500 limos. Yes, 500 for everyone to get around. Later, in France, the king duplicated the same routine. The trip to Indonesia. Later that year, when the king finally made it to Indonesia, 7 large aircraft, including the C-130 Hercules and Boeing 747s, were used to transport his personal belongings, which weighed an absurd 506 tons. along with 10 ministers, 25 princes, at least 1,500 other people, and 100 bodyguards who cost up to $3,500 per hour each. The king was escorted by an entourage whose combined wealth was in the tens of billions of dollars. They all arrived ahead of the king over a period of 3 weeks on 36 flights. Now, of course, like every other nation he had traveled to, the king had very specific, opulent requirements. Most notably, that a custom toilet be built and installed for him inside the mosque he was visiting, and I'm assuming it was covered in gold. His demands were so strenuous that it reportedly took his transportation's air freight provider about 572 employees to handle just his cargo. If you're wondering why King Salman must travel with so many people, the reason's more clear-cut than you might think. The king has particular requirements, and at least 150 people are his personal, trained chefs, who are members of his 1,500 entourage who are assigned the task of preparing specific delicacies for him. He has additional servants who are also part of the entourage, and the Saudi princes who accompany him have their own servants who are also on the list. In fact, they're rumored to replace the hotel staff that the king has reserved with their own servants. Unsurprisingly, the king's love for gold, convenience, and luxury has not gone unnoticed by members of the family who have tried to make money on the king himself. The most costly example involved the king's nephew, Prince Awalid bin Talal. He placed an order to transform the world's largest and most spacious airliner, the Airbus A380, converting a super jumbo into a luxurious private aircraft. Guess the outrageous projected cost of this project? An anticipated record-breaking amount of approximately $485 million. For the business of luxury private planes, there were plans for elevators and wide staircases that would connect 5 luxurious suites. There was going to be a marble-furnished Turkish bath, a concert hall, a steam room, a cinema, parking spaces for luxury cars, along with a mosque that would feature electronic mats that automatically turn to face Mecca. You would basically enter the plane and forget that you were in a plane. The prince intended to resell the aircraft to King Salman once he was finished, for a higher price, of course, but that never happened. The project stalled and ultimately came to a screeching halt. Today, there's an abandoned A380 sitting in a hangar in France with its interior torn out, wasting away as a testament to the limitless wealth of the House of Saud and its luxury-loving king.